So here we're going to be estimating square root numbers. Now these square root numbers, they're not the perfect squares, but we will be using those in our estimation. Now, reasons we might want to do this is I want to know kind of what the value is. I don't need to know the exact value, but I need to know if I'm in the ballpark or not, is when we would be using this. So if you're finding like a side of a triangle and it looks like the triangle, the side that you're looking for is like 5 and around 5, and you end up with like 22, it's all like, oh, I was way off. So it's just to give us a ballpark view of, are we in the ballpark of whatever? Or if I had to plot it on a number line, and that's actually how we're going to estimate these, is where do they belong on a number line? Okay, so square root of 10, it's not a perfect square, which means it's going to be a decimal if I, type it in the calculator, but I don't need the exact number. I just want to know about what is it, like closest to the nearest 1/10 of a percent. So here we go. We're actually going to use a number line. So here's our number line here. There's our number line there, okay? And now let's make it a little bit longer. There we go. There's a number line there. Okay, so so let's just start putting some numbers. There's a 2, there's a 3, there's a 4, and there's a 5. Okay, so in order to get exactly a 2 on a number line, and again, we're thinking square roots, that would have had to been a 4, square root of 4. So we got square root of 4 goes to exactly a 2. So if my number was square root of 4, I could put a dot right on the 2. Now, if we want to look at the next one, 3, that would come from the square root of 9. If I wanted a 4, a perfect 4, that would be square root of 16. 5, that would be square root of 25. So there's our number line there. Now, let's look at square root of 10. Where does that live? Well, that's going to live right in between the 9 and the 16. So square root of 10 is going to live right between the 9 and the 16. Now, let's write it here. Square root of 10. It's going to live right in between the 9 and the 16. But which one is it closest to? Well, it's just one off. It's just one more than the square root of 9. So square root of 10 is actually going to live right there, just to the right of 3. So for our estimation, it's going to be about 3.1, maybe 3.2. Okay, and it's really should be going about that fast when you get good at it. So square root of 10, we're just going to call it about 3.1. And done. Again, we're just looking for a quick type of estimation. It doesn't have to be super exact. If we needed super exact, we'd plug it into our calculator. So we're not looking for that. Okay, square root of 15. Where does that live? Okay, between the 2 or the 3, there. Does it live there? Does it live there? Well, square root of 15 is going to be just under square root of 16. So square root of 15 is right there next to square root of 16. It's just one below square root of 16. So it's going to live just below the 4. Well, what's just below 4? Well, that's 3.9. Okay, 3.8, somewhere in there. We'll just call it 3.9 because, again, we're just looking to be within about a 1/10 of the actual, like, decimal value. Okay, so there's square root of 15. Square root of 20. Okay, where does that live? Square root of 20. Well, I got a 16 here and I got the 25 there. 20 lives between 16 and 25. Square root 20. And it's almost smack dab in the middle. It's like 4 away from the 16. And from the 25, it's 5 away. So it's almost right in between the 4 and the 5. It's living about right there. It is just a little bit closer to the square root of 16 versus the square root of 25. So we call it 4.5, 4.4, somewhere in there. There we go. Okay, so far so good? All right, now go ahead and see if you can like think about that square root of 40. Where would that one live and what would be its approximate decimal, okay? And then pause the video, try and figure it out, and then come on back and see how you did. So square root of 40, that's going to live between what two square roots? It's going to live between the square root of 36, which goes to 6, and it's going to be between square root of 49, which goes to 7. And square root of 40 is right in between those. Square root of 40. Okay, now if I look here, it's 4 away from the 36, and it's 9 away from the 49. So it is in between, but I wouldn't say it's exactly or almost like right in the middle. It is in between, but it's a little bit closer to the 36 versus the 49. So the answer is going to be closer to 6 versus the 7. Okay, it'd be closer to the 6. So this one here, it's in between, but a little bit closer to the 6. So maybe call it 6.3 should work for that square root of 40. So for estimating these square roots, and none of them are going to be perfect whole numbers, we're just ballparking. So we're kind of comparing which perfect square are they closest to, or which perfect square are they between, and then which one are they closest to. So if it's closer to a 5, you know, it'll be 5.1, 5.2, or 4.8, 4.9 if it's on the left or to the right of 5. If they're right in the middle, we can do 0.5, 0.4, 0.6, something like that. So anyhow, give this a try, and then subscribe for me if you like it.